Alright, what's going on, diehards? Straight to the surf today. Doing some tsunami fishing. Getting a little bit of a late start. Probably about an hour after sunrise, unfortunately. I really wanted to get here before sunrise, but just straight up didn't wake up in time. So anyways, we're gonna start throwing this little cleesa around. Hope for some surf perch today. Maybe striped bass if we're lucky. We'll see what happens. First cast. No luck on the first cast, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Really quickly, want to give a huge thank you to StartMail for sponsoring today's video. Now, what is StartMail? They're an email service provider, and their mission is very simple. They want to keep all your private information in your email. They want to keep that private. Now, you would think that that's normal and that should be the standard for all email service providers, but unfortunately, it's not. When StartMail, once you delete an email, it's gone forever. There's no recovering it. Nobody's going to sell that information. That's it. Poof, gone. Now for me, I've got some top secret fishing spots that I definitely don't want to be sold. Now I'm pretty sure other email service providers aren't going to be selling your fishing spots, but don't want to take any chances. And besides that, there's medical information, financial information, business information. That's the stuff that I definitely want to keep private. And that's why I switched from the old spy mail to StartMail. Now I just got back from a long day of fishing, and the last thing I want to do is worry about my personal information on my email getting shared with the world. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, make sure to go to startmail.com/diehardfishing for 50% off your first year. Again, go to the link in my description for 50% off. That's right, 50, half price off of your first year. Thank you to StartMail for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get back to the beach.
So a little bit of an impromptu mission today. Not very prepared. Like I said, I woke up late this morning and the conditions aren't great. I mean, they're not bad, but I really like to fish, especially when you're fishing a lure like this. I like to fish it during overcast conditions. You can definitely catch them like sunny like it is today, but it seems like overcast tends to work a little bit better. I also have no idea what the tide is like, but whatever. Just gonna try to make it happen regardless. Me personally, I don't look at the tides as much as most people do when surf fishing. I feel like, in my opinion, yes, the tides do matter, but I think that you can catch them regardless of the tide. You just might have to fish a little bit differently depending on how the tide's looking. So I don't know, I'll look it up in a little bit, but I just wanted to get straight to casting here because I got here so late. See if I can find a fish. It kind of looks like it's right in the middle right now, just judging by the way like how far up the beach the waves are crashing, but I'll look it up later. Conditions aren't bad. The swell is pretty low, as you can see. There's not too much wave action. There's enough wave action where it's not too calm, but definitely not too much where it's gonna be too hard to fish. Water looks pretty clean. Hopefully we can find a few fish. We're also looking for a few fish to take home for dinner. I haven't caught and kept a surf perch in a while, so that's my mission for today. Looking for like 2 or 3 good solid keepers to bring home for dinner. All right, last cast here. I don't know, the conditions look pretty good, but the water is a little bit churned up. It's not quite as clear as would be ideal. And there's a little bit of grass in the water. Not too much, but that is making it a little more difficult. And for whatever reason, if there are fish in there, they're not biting my lure. So if I really wanted to pick this place apart, I could change my setup and toss a sand crab in there. I think we're just gonna pack it in here and try a new beach, do some exploring. All right, we'll see you there. There we go, there's one. That feels like, oh no. Oh, it came off. Oh, there's our first bite. Feel like a decent one, probably not huge, but Definitely a keeper. Dang. It's a good bite too. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There's a good one. Right in close. Right in close. Oh, that's a good one. That's a perch. That's a big one. Oh, it is a perch. It is a big one. Right in close. Right in close. Bingo. Alright guys, first fish. We got on the sand. I had one other bite this morning that popped off, unfortunately. But I think this one was the bigger of the two, luckily. So got on that Cleesa right there. Barred surf perch, probably about, I don't know, right 13, 14 inches, something like that. It's a nice sized male. So if you see this fin on the bottom here, the females have a uniform fin all the way down, just looking like one complete fin. The males have like this weird, I don't know, it looks like kind of rubbery, I don't know, on the bottom of the, I think that's the anal fin right there. That's how you can tell the difference. So that's pretty big for a male. Usually the fish this size are females. The females definitely get bigger than the males. First fish today, like I said, we're trying to get probably 3 keepers would be a nice number if I can to bring home for dinner. I haven't had surf perch in a while. My wife was requesting a surf perch dinner, so if she's doing that, I gotta get them. So one of the cool things about filming YouTube fishing videos is I can go back and watch, you know, what I did right and what I did wrong basically every time I catch a fish. So I'm not, like, in the heat of the moment, it's hard to remember exactly what I was doing, but I'll go back and watch the replay, and you know, you guys have the luxury of doing that too, is watching what was going down, because that one, it was so close, I like gave up on the cast. It was like right in the wash here, and yeah, I don't know, you hit it right in there. So anyways, it'll be interesting to see on the replay. I'll have to go back and watch it, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm having so many issues with the GoPro today, so I don't know if the audio or whatever is that great, but hopefully it's not too bad. It's not too windy today, so that's good. Hopefully it doesn't blow out the audio. Let's get back in there, do some more tsunami fishing. All right, back in there. So I've been saying tsunami fishing. Obviously it's not tsunami conditions right now, but in case you're watching this on, you know, later on, or you don't live on the West Coast, we just had a tsunami. And I say tsunami, every time you hear tsunami, you think of like these huge, you know, 50-foot wave. It was actually, I think, in the Bay Area when it touched down on the Bay Area coastline. It was like, I saw somewhere 0.7 feet. So what is that, like 8 or 9 inches? Which doesn't seem, I mean, that really, these waves by themselves are more than that, but a tidal wave is a little different than the normal. Oh, I think I just got bumped. It actually did cause some flooding in my area. I think it just happened to be at the same time as we had a big king tide, so the tide was already really high, and just that extra little surge of tsunami action caused a little bit of flooding out here. And yeah, it wasn't too dangerous. I don't think anyone died or anything, or yeah, I'm sure some buildings were probably damaged just from the higher water. But anyway, it's interesting to see. I was also curious to see how it would affect the fishing. I wanted to come on the day of the tsunami, but thought that was probably not a good idea. Probably in general not a good idea to head towards the beach when there's a tsunami warning in effect. Oh, that was a fish. Dang it, that was a bite. This is interesting. So we don't normally have this on the West Coast, but I have a breeze that's blowing from my back towards the ocean. So normally you don't want to throw these light lures like a Lucky Craft or a Kalisa in the wind, but with the wind being at my back, that lure's just sailing out there, so I'm getting like top-notch distance on my cast here. There we go. There's one. There's one. There's one. Stay on there. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Got him. Finally. That one to stay pinned there. Alright, I know this lighting isn't great, but second fish landed of the day. I've been losing quite a few. I don't know what it is with these lures. Like I said, the hooks look good. Barbs are all there. They're really sharp, but I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just either bad luck or doing something wrong. I don't know. But anyway, landed this one. There's no minimum size when it comes to barred surf perch. At least in California. I'm pretty sure other states are the same, but double check always. Here there's no minimum size, but I don't like to keep them if they're less than like maybe 12 inches. Unless I'm getting really desperate, then maybe I'll keep an 11 or 10 incher. But anyways, that's a good one right there. That's a nice eater fish. We'll get a couple good fillets off of that one. So I'm not really sure why, but a lot of people like to hate on the surf perch. I particularly really like them, especially if you just fry them up. Either if they're big enough, you've got a couple. Oh man, this wind is probably killing the audio, but you know, whatever. Anyways, my favorite way to do it is if you get a nice one like this or bigger, scale it, fillet it, leave the skin on, and then fry it really quick, really hot oil. And that seems to be the best for me. It keeps it as firm as possible. A lot of people say surf perch are mushy, but I think if you cook it really hot and really quick, it'll firm up a little bit, and you'll get a nice white fleshed fish. Number two, I'd like to get one more if possible. I mean, it could make enough meal for two with this one and my other one, but I need one more just in case we feel a little bit hungrier tonight than expected. So anyways, let's get back out there so we can get one more. So a quick tip for anyone new to surf fishing. Number one rule, you never want to dunk your reel in the sand, and you also never want to dunk it in the water out there. And the reason for the water is because the water's not a problem, but the salt in the salt water out here, once all that water dries up, the salt will be left, and that's just as bad as sand once it gets in all the gears and everything. So try your best not to dunk it in the sand, not to drop it in the surf. And also, after every single surf trip, doesn't matter if you dunked it or you didn't, always rinse it with fresh water as soon as possible after your fishing session. And that'll just wash it off. And even though I didn't dunk it, just the spray from the waves and the line coming back in, wet line, that salt water, you'll get a little spray on the reel regardless. So just washing it off after every trip will really help elongate the lifespan of your fishing reels. I see it all the time with beginner surf casters. They always want to, maybe you drop it in the sand and they want to just dunk it into the water because it seems like the water will clean it out. But the salt water is just as bad as the sand once the water dries out. So anyways, quick tip. I noticed today that when I set the hook on those fish and I know that they're on, I like automatically drop my rod down like this because I'm in steelhead mode. When you hook a steelhead in the river, you hook it, and then a lot of times you want to drop your tip down because you don't want that fish to jump and throw the hook. In the surf, it doesn't matter as much. So normally I'm just fighting it straight up and down, but tip towards the sky. But I've been doing so much steelhead fishing. It was just like a natural reaction for me to hook it and then drop down like this. There we go. There's another one. There's another one. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. Stay pinned. This one's running. Fighting good. Stay on there. Stay on there. Sorry for the wind. This is gonna complete my dinner though if I can get this one on the shore. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. That's the one we're looking for right there. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. The wind got really bad, so all the audio from here on out is kind of blown out, but just wanted to wrap things up here. It was a good day, had to search a little bit, but finally found a good little hole there where I was able to pull out a few nice fish, brought them home, filleted them up, cooked up a really nice fried surf perch dinner over rice. But a couple other things I wanted to mention really quick. First off, thank you again to StartMail for sponsoring today's video. I'll leave the link and promo code and everything linked in the description below, so if you're interested in that, check that out. And then also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the setup that I was using. So this is the setup that I've been using here for the past few surf perch outings that I've been on. Gotta watch out for the ceiling lamp here. But really quick, just wanted to show you, it's 30-pound braid, 20-pound fluoro top shot, and then this Cleesa right here. And if you want to know more about this setup, I'm actually going to do a video on my Patreon breaking down the whole thing. I'm going to go all the way, give you the exact rod, the exact reel, even show you the exact knots that I'm using, and everything. Just break it down 100% so that you could go out and buy the same exact setup you're using. But anyways, if you want to see that, check out the Patreon. I'll leave that linked in the description below as well. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm kind of working on this year. I think I'm going to do more videos like that on my Patreon. So if you're interested in the surf perch one, obviously you can check that out. And then moving forward, I'm going to hopefully do more depending on the season. Once halibut season starts, maybe I'll put my halibut setup on there, salmon, sturgeon, whatever it is. Hoping to put it on there. And if you're part of the Patreon and you have a suggestion or a certain tactic, maybe you want to see my setup for trolling live bait in the bay for halibut or whatever. If you want to be that specific, you can, and I'll do my best to accommodate those requests. And then also just wanted to give a quick shout out to my wife for helping me film this, and a quick shout out to Olaf for bringing me the good luck to bring that last nice surf perch. I think it ended up being 15 inches or 16 inches, I don't remember exactly, but pretty good one. Probably my biggest that I've caught in a while. But anyways, thank you to all of those guys for making this video possible. And thank you to you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.